Mr Caulfield has one more question, and then... Is it a new question, Mr Caulfield?
Well, it's the one that I asked you about farm debt mediation.
I'm not going to get into that detail now. We can take that offline outside. I'm not going to... That's not a subject of today's...
And a question for the auditor? Has that been taken offline?
The auditor?
Yes.
You can ask the question of the auditor, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Does the auditor, KPMG, perform auditing functions and consulting functions at Suncorp?
I can answer that question, but then Scott can also speak to it. We disclose the amount that we spend on the auditors for the audit, and there is also some services provided for non-audit services, but they are deeply scrutinised by the Audit Committee Chair and the Risk Committee Chair, so they are kept at a very minimum level.
Thank you, Chair, and happy to address that question.
This is our auditor, Scott Goose.
Yes, if you look at the annual report, you'll see that the level of other fees that we received this year were less than 2% of our audit fees. And that's largely because Suncorp and KPMG have agreed very strict policies on independence as to what we can't and cannot do. Every time we go to promote or perform a service, it goes through a very rigorous process signed off by management and then by the board. So you'll notice in the annual report that I sign off a clean independence declaration, which gives you as shareholders comfort that we have done the necessary checks involved to say that we are independent of the organisation.
Thanks, Scott. So I think that's...
Can I just ask a question with the auditor?
Okay.
Responding to that. Is any of the loan application files individually audited in looking at, the thousands of loans that you get?
No. Thank you. They're not.
No. Can I suggest that
they're
the board
vetted
looks
by
at
the
that?
Risk Committee when they need to be, and the CEO of the bank when they need to be.
But one of the biggest parts of your business in the loan, UBS describes $200 billion of liar loans in Australia, and surely one of the largest parts of your business requires some audit on a selected basis. You might do 1% of all the loans or 0.25% of all the loans. But are you confirming that in terms of the actual loan application files, not one is audited by the auditor?
The auditor take a whole of enterprise view. Scott, make a couple of comments, then we'll wrap this up.
As the Chairman was just about to say, we do take a holistic view of the application process as well as the lending process on an ongoing basis. We don't select every single policy. We'd be here for multiple years to do that. We do select random policies and we check that they are in accordance with Suncorp's policies and controls.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr Caulfield. The auditor will be available to chat after the meeting if that's helpful. So Scott and Tanya will